have read 80% of my books by my birthday, which is in less than a month. Let's talk about that. Hi there. Long time no see. It has been quite the week for me. I am finally home after pretty much not being home since last Thursday. I went to 3 Beartooth shows basically in a row. I was in Memphis on Thursday, came home on Friday, went to Nashville on Saturday, was home on Sunday, and then Monday went to Knoxville, and Tuesday morning came home from Knoxville. And so I'm still like getting readjusted. It is now Thursday. So it's been a full week since that, and I am still catching up on sleep. But peep the merch. I've been saying the new colors are going to be red. Am I right? We'll see. They might just be trolling me. What you're here for, long time no see, we need to read. I have missed reading. I thought I was going to get to read on the road a little bit, but I did not. So I'm behind on my 10 pages a day. I'm behind on my current reads. A lot of my library loads, well, a lot of my library loads have lapsed. Wouldn't that be nice if that made total sense? That's what a lot of people say, honestly, after they interact with me for 5 minutes. Wouldn't it be nice if she made sense? So let's make some sense. I created a goal last year. I think a lot of us, yeah, I'm comfortable saying that, want to read more of our physical TBR. Now, as I have mentioned before, I don't really have a problem with buying new books because I can't afford to just buy new books constantly. Most of my money goes to seeing Beartooth 3 times in a row. But I do, on occasion, get books for my birthday, Christmas, and I do occasionally go buy books. So I am accumulating more physical TBR, just at a slower rate than others. But we all want to read some more of our physical TBR. Great. Awesome. Especially me, because even though I don't acquire my physical TBR as quickly, it happens to build up in the backlog. Hence part of why I started my 10 pages a day video. But we need to amp this up a little bit. So last year, when I was brainstorming ideas, I had an idea at the beginning of the year to have at least 80% of my owned TBR read. This was all great and well and good, except that I didn't get around to counting my TBR till halfway through the year. July 8th, as a fact. Where's my water? Where's your water? It's in my body, Chey. We're all 80% water, just like you should be with your TBR. So, the number we got was 171 owned TBR as of July 8th, 2024. And see, I thought I was going to be clever by putting the date. That way I was like, well, if I get any more, then I'll know that, like, I won't count those, I won't add those. Like, this is the number that we're at currently. Yeah, I thought I was going to be real slick. You see what the problem is? What Chey's issue is that when she thinks clever, often she still doesn't think all the way through. So I may have counted the exact number, I may have added the exact date. I had not cataloged what my own TBR was. So I have a number. I don't know which books were unread, though. So I would have to go back through my Goodreads and be like, ah, crap. What wasn't read as of July 7th, whatever the frickin' date was. So I had no way to track that. Great. Chey, thank you. But I came up with a solution. Something I've been meaning to do anyway is just catalog all of my media, so I made a media catalog. Made myself a little Google Sheets thing, and I just started logging all the books I own. Now, because that pretty much became worthless except for as a time capsule, now I have a more accurate depiction of how many books I actually own, and I inputted all the formulas and stuff, which I'm very proud of myself, for how many are read, how many are unread, the percentage, and I even just created a little bar that shows me how many more I have to read till I get to 80%. I still want to do this by my birthday, which it is May 15th. My birthday is in less than a month. So where are we, Chey? Where are we? Isn't that a great question? Like I know half the time. I want to go ahead and caveat this by saying, though I am proud of myself, and this is a much more accurate depiction of my owned books in general, which I needed anyway, like I said, it is by no means an exhaustive list. Because down in the basement, I still have a bunch of my childhood books, but honestly, do we need to count those? I don't think so. So it's not a completely exhaustive list, and I know there are going to be some here and there that I've missed between my parents' house and my house and the basement and blah, 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 blah. But trust me when I tell you that I have been working on this list long enough, including just before I started filming this, that I am comfortable with saying that it is a pretty darn accurate representation, pretty darn close with just cheese bits here and there missing. Our current total, book total, for what I own, according to this list, is 549 books that I have counted so far. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. Of that 549, I have read 399 of them, which means we have a smooth 150 unread. Now, the more mathematical among you might be like, that sounds kind of close to 80, and the really mathematical among you will be like, it's not 80, and you're right, it is not. It is 72.67%. Now, before I started inputting a lot more books in here this morning, it was 75. And as I came into my room, I realized there were things I hadn't logged, and my mood and my percentage just went down, down, down. So let's fix that. I still think I can get to 80 by my birthday, because according to this, I only have to read 40 more books to hit 80% of my owned TBR, or my owned books read. Wow, I should have clarified that. I have changed it to 80% of my TBR read to, like, I want to have 80% of my books be read books. Thank you, Chey. So we only have 40 left to go. I think that's very doable. And part of why I say that is because a lot of my current reads, like over 10 of them, so I'm currently reading 21 books, but some of those are my 10 pages a day books, some are long-term reads, blah, blah, blah. Most of those are my own physical TBR. So if I can just focus on those, that'll take out pretty much half of it. And I have some manga here and there, I think. Yeah, I think I have like 2 or 3 volumes of manga that should go pretty quick. And the others, I got some books that I think I could go through pretty quickly as well. I don't know if this is just going to be one video. It's probably going to be too long to be one video. We're not going to do the 6-hour marathons here. I'm sorry. I can't do that again. Will I do it again? Probably, but I'm not doing it right now. So this will probably end up being a series instead of just one episode, but welcome to the Mad Dash to Chey's Birthday Bash. Cool, now that that's out of the way, let's go over some of the stuff that I am planning on finishing first. Did a little bit of math, and 14 of my 21 current reads are books that I own physically. However, 1 is a reread, so it will not be counted. Funnily enough, it is actually going to be the subject of another vlog, but not this one, because it is a reread, so that's a win for me. That being said, let's go over some of the books that I want to focus on in this vlog. They're down here. Gun Island. This is one that I started for my 28 and 28. You'll realize a lot of these are ones I started for my 28K and 28 days video, which is a running theme, I guess. But we have Gun Island. I got about 30 or something odd pages into this. I'm really, really liking it. I have it in my living room. That way I can just pick it up instead of mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I think this one should be pretty quick to get through. Black Sun Rising. I'm really disappointed with myself, or I shouldn't say disappointed. I'm surprised at myself that I didn't finish this in the 28K challenge, because I was absolutely devouring this. I am on page 167. Like, I was booking it through this. It's like high kind of grimdark fantasy from the early 90s. I love this. This is amazing. Also, bring these types of covers back, please. Look at that. That's absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. I am really, really determined to finish this one in this vlog and talk to you about it. Mainly because I think I'm going to love the next 2 if I love this one, and I'm planning on hunting them down for my birthday, so I really am motivated. Emergency Contact. How far am I? I am 56 pages into this. I'm liking it so far. I am divided on Chey's writing. I liked the first book I read by them, which was, oh god, what was it? Yoke? Yes, Yoke. I really liked Yoke, and I have Permanent Record by them. This is my second book I've ever read by them, and this kind of just feels a little bit juvenile, or kind of like chonky to my taste, like writing style. It's like a 6 out of 10 so far, so I'm going to continue. I got this for $1 from a thrift store, so I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish it, because I want to read Permanent Record, and I've made up some stupid rule where I can't read Permanent Record until I read that one that I've started by that author. This one I will have no problem finishing, except for the fact that I don't want it to end. Johannes Cabal number 4, The Brothers Cabal. This is a 5-star series for me so far. Literally every book in this series has been 5 stars. And the 5th book, The Fall of the House of Cabal, is over there. And I know it's going to destroy me. So I'm reading book 4, and I'm loving it. But I also don't want it to end. So I'm like, Chey, we need to finish this. That way we can go back, reread it, and annotate it as fast as possible. I love this. And I'll talk more about these books as we go through the vlog. But right now, we're just doing rapid fire. Rapid fire. And the last one, don't look at me when I give you this book, okay? Don't side-eye me. What? I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm just going to show it to you, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see why I'm acting like this. Hillbilly Elegy. I got this before everything happened, okay? Don't. I got this before everything happened. I got this like several years ago, okay? Don't come at me like that. I am reading it because we should be informed about certain people in positions of power. Am I going to amplify this book in any way? Am I going to give it a platform rather than just inform you that I'm reading it and give you some basic thoughts? No, I'm not. But I am curious as a history student and just as a Southerner myself to be informed and to read this. I will tell you so far, I'm 46 pages into it. Some things in here, I'm like, how did you turn out the way you did? Because there are things in here that have been said that I'm like, that's the exact opposite of like the perspective that you're giving. What happened? What happened? What you were one of us. You were one of us. And now you're not. We don't claim you now. At least I don't. Nat, please. I forgot one. We Are the Clash. Talk about counteracting with punk freaking rock. We Are the Clash, a nonfiction book about the inside story of Reagan Thatcher and the last stand of a band that mattered. This is about an era of the Clash that I have avoided for many years because I like to pretend that the last album doesn't exist, and I'm challenging my own beliefs on that. If you're a fan of the Clash, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe you disagree with me, and that's totally fine. That's why I'm reading this, to be like, okay, Chey, we have held this grudge against this last album and stuff, like, for this last era, like, way too long. We need to be informed about it and get more info on the historical context of this album and, like, why it actually did matter and why we should stop being a jerk about it. I'm not a jerk about it to other people, just to myself. I'm not a gatekeeper, okay? I'm not a gatekeeper. I am 180 pages through this. The thing is, yeah. Yeah. But, you know, it's like 300 and something pages of, yeah. But I want to finish this one in this episode. Mark my words. Mark my words. Mark my words. I knew that was one of the authors. Playing chess, not checkers.
Good morning. I know I look like chaos. I just wanted to let you know that I have not read much, but I did read about 20-something pages in this, not yesterday morning, but the night before yesterday morning. Yesterday, I spent so many hours at an estate sale, and I've just been working on videos since then, but now it's the weekend, so I'm going to try and at least finish 1 or 2 books. I'm going to work on my library holds because they come first because they're due first, but alongside them, I'm going to try and finish at least 1 or 2 books this weekend. Can we do it? We will find out.
What's up, party people? We are about to finish another book off my physical TBR. Yay! I don't think this is one that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, but it is on my physical TBR. This is Cowboy Bebop Volume 3. It is the last work in the series, so I will also be finishing a series, because I got the ebook of Volume 2, and I read that. I don't own Volume 2, I own Volumes 1 and 3, but I finished the ebook online of Volume 2, and so by finishing this, we'll get down to 39 books, and we will also finish a series. Getting our stats up, baby. Getting our stats up. Guess what? We are at my parents' house, and I'm going back to my house tomorrow, but I came over for the weekend, and some of my unread TBR that is on my list is here. I know I told you not all of my unread TBR that is here is on my list, just because, like, different stuff, but some of it is, including this. I did finish Cowboy Bebop Volume 3, so I'll talk to you very quickly about that. It doesn't even really follow the main characters as much, it more so follows secondary characters. Like, Volume 2 really kind of focused heavily on some secondary characters, like, in the galaxy, which, like, is kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see the lives of other characters within the galaxy. And then the Bebop crew just kind of played into it. Volume 3 leaned a little bit more in towards including the main characters again, but I still felt like the stories were really kind of disjointed, and at times I found myself being like, wait, what's happening? Wait, huh? What? What? When did... Who? When? What's going on? It wasn't extremely confusing, but there were many points where I had to be like, okay, wait, slow it down, go back a page, and then put it together. The stories themselves were interesting. I mean, they were fun. I liked the Ed hacking one, but that one also just, I don't know, they felt like a little bit too quick of trips. Some chapters of manga, right, are just like filler chapters, but this felt like they were really trying to pack in whole episodes of like Bebop into a chapter, and it felt a little too quick, it felt a little too rushed, and so because of that, I feel like that made it feel more disjointed and kind of just jumping here to here to here to here, and it was like really snappy, fast paced, but because of that, it felt like tripping a lot. That's the best pacing that I can think of, is it felt like running and tripping. But I gave it like 3 stars, which I'm kind of sad about, but that's another series finished, another book finished. Today's reading goals: Hawkeye and Deadpool, obviously very short. I feel like I have read this before, but for some reason I never marked it as read on Goodreads, so whatever. If it's a reread, it's a reread. It won't take that long. I want to finish this today. I haven't been updating when I have been reading, but I have been reading. Since I've been reading in doses, I don't want to update you in little bitty doses. I'd rather come back to you when I have a bigger update. I have been reading this. I'm about 120 pages from finishing it. I hope to finish this today. I think I said this, but I hope to finish this today. This is kind of a stretch. This is my stretch goal. I want to at least get most of the way through this. Then, a book that I'm not sure is on my list, so I'm not sure if it's counting towards my progress or not, but I think I'm going to add it in just to be... It's going to be my bonus book, I guess. My Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This has been on my nightstand for forever, and I've read parts of it, through like bits and pieces, but I've never read it all the way through. As you can tell, I'm already like halfway through it. It's super easy to read. Planning on finishing that today, and then that'll kind of like be a bonus book, and I'll go add that to the spreadsheet for honesty's sake and stuff like that. And then 3 other books that I am planning on finishing today: Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 9, Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 10, and then that will complete all the volumes that I own of that, and then manga Hamlet, which I don't want to talk about too in depth because it may be its own thing soon. Gonna try and read as much as I can in this one. Gonna finish my 10 pages a day book, but I won't talk about that here because that's gonna be another vlog. Otherwise, it's going well. Nat is also doing her own challenge video, which I won't tell you about, but I will just link her channel because I don't know if by the time this goes up, hers will be out, but I'll just tell you she's doing her own kind of challenge, and I told her I would join her for moral and emotional support since I did my own version of that not too long ago. We finished it. It is a pretty good solid 4 out of 5 stars. Short little fun jaunt between Hawkeye and Deadpool. It did feel a little choppy in some of the pacing at points, but really nicely summarized. Like it made sense all the way through. It's just that sometimes I was like, okay, that was a non-transition. That's what it felt like. It felt like the transitions like between scenes were more like jumps, which, to be fair, I've been reading a lot of manga and I haven't read a lot of comics lately, so maybe that's on me, but it didn't detract from the story. The humor, the action, the storyline, I enjoyed it all. It's just a good little fun jaunt. The Magic Mike part did make me cringe a little bit, but there were many, many lines where I just had to close my eyes and just, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I would enjoy it. If you like these 2 characters, especially if you like the graphic novel, like the comic Hawkeye, by that one author that I have the books up there for, Matt, what is his name? If you like that Hawkeye and you like Deadpool, I think you should give this a try if you haven't already. I'm probably last on the train to this, but I liked it. I finished manga Hamlet. I don't really have much to say about this because, like I said, it's going to be its own thing. I will say, moody emo anime Hamlet is so on point. It's exactly what Shakespeare would have wanted. But also, and most importantly, they treat Horatio and Hamlet's relationship exactly as they should. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Good news! I actually finished every single one of my goals, I think, last night. I finished Meditations. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Overall, has some good lessons and has a lot of good takeaways, but also very repetitive. And a lot of it was like, it's just good and bad, like things. I get the general gist, but also I'm like, there are no, unnatural things, like good, there is no good or bad, there is just like it is. And I was like, I wonder what he would have said about an atom bomb. But, things like that where I'm just like, I don't see in action, which a lot of, maybe I'm not understanding it well, I'm certainly not explaining it well, but just the way that this book discusses, like, I don't feel like it goes in depth enough to the thought of inaction versus like what affects a community, because it talks about like nothing is good or bad unless like it affects the community in like a harmful way or whatever, but it's like, okay, well you just said like nothing is harmful, so what dictates that? Like, what are the definitions here? When do we talk about like actually taking action, taking accountability, and like, no, some people just are evil, like they're not just raw. Like, I'm not philosophical enough for this, but I think it does have a lot of good takeaways. I think I just need to spend some more time with it and talk to some people who are smarter than me about it to get really into the weeds in it, but I'm glad that I read it. I also finished volumes 9 and 10 of Snow White with the Red Hair. I ended up liking volume 10 a little bit more than volume 9. Volume 9 was interesting because they are out in Outpost trying to figure out this mysterious illness that's happening, and it was cool. It was a nice little side story, whatever. But I really liked volume 10 going more into Kiki's backstory, especially with her and Mitsuhide. Mitsu is my boy. Okay, I love him. I love him so much. And I hope that we are seeing an arc of them because they are my ship. And so actually getting to see like their relationship, like how it first developed, how they first met each other and stuff, and Mitsu thinking that she's a boy at first. So funny. So I love Kiki's backstory. I love that lore. Oh, I finished We Are the Clash, but that's already in the car, so I will update you when I get to my house on that. But yeah, we did good last night. Hell yeah. We did good. What's up, buttercups? I'm up here filming an unrelated video. By the way, have you seen this raccoon? I want to talk to you about We Are the Clash real quick while I'm up here before I get eaten alive. I really liked it. Nonfiction book exploring the last era of the Clash, the last iteration of Neo Clash and their final album. Honestly made me appreciate Neo Clash more, which if you don't know anything about classic rock punk band, the Clash, the legends, the icons themselves, they removed some of their OG members and then had like a new era where they brought in new guys, Neo Clash and all that, and it's a whole thing that I don't like to talk about. But honestly, this book does a good job of meshing what was going on with the band as well as what was going on politically and in world context, because that's what the band was originally founded on, right? Being punk rock and being involved in politics and getting people out there and involved in changing the world, actually actionable work in politics, actually actively changing the world. And so I think that was really helpful to contextualize all of what was going on. I did sometimes think it was a little bit biased, but it never claimed to not be. I think it was handled pretty even-handedly, though. I like the way that the Neo Clash and the new album was discussed. I feel weird saying Neo Clash because it sounds way too close to Neo something else, and I don't like it. But you get what I mean. I'm glad that I read it. I'm a little bit sad it took me so long to get through it. My legs are being eaten alive. But I'm so glad that I read it, and I think I will now go listen to the album because it's a shame how a lot of it ended up, and it's not an entirely happy story, but I'm now glad that it's a story that I know and that I have more detail for it and am more just informed to make better opinions on it. So yeah, I'm glad that I read it. It was a good read. If you're interested in punk history at all, if you're just interested in music history in general, I'd give it a read. It was really insightful, really informative. How many times I'm going to say that word? Let's go in the house. Let's go in the house. Let's go in the house. I'm being eaten. Let's go in the house. Update for this particular vlog that hasn't happened since I don't know when. I finished A Streetcar Named Desire. I feel so weird holding the front of this book. I feel like I'm violating Marlon Brando. Anyway, I won't go too much into this because it's gonna be also for my 10 pages a day video. Spoiler alert. But I'll just tell you that it's fine. It's like a 3 out of 5 for me. I've lived too much of this stuff. I don't like reading about it. Like, it's done well, I guess. That's mean. It is done well. I just, in particular, don't like reading about that kind of stuff. That's all I have to say about it. Solid 3 out of 5. I'm not a sad lit girly. I'm sorry. Meg? I'm sorry. I think Meg loves this book. I could be totally wrong. Or play. Hello. It's me again, Margaret. I don't remember who I am. I have 3 little books. I want to straight up call myself out that I have bought some more books. But we're not going to count those to this total. Why? Because a lot of them came from the estate sale. I've probably mentioned this before. And they're older. So I will get to them eventually. But I'm not putting them on my TBR anytime soon. And I went to an indie bookstore today locally to try and look for the sequel books to one of my current reads, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to want the other 2. Did not find them, but I did pick up 4 books, 2 of which don't really count towards this because I've already owned them and read them, and the other 2 are new to me. I guess I'll go ahead and kind of show you them. I got The Demon King, a Seven Realms novel, and I got Binding 13. Yeah, cool. So I've added 2 more books to my TBR. Am I going to worry about this with my stats? No, because I'm counting that as a birthday present to myself, so those don't count until after my birthday. I'm not even putting them in the spreadsheet. We're going to pretend those don't exist, because number one, I'm supporting a small local business, and so the karma equals out. Karma equals out. But I still have 32 books left to go. What are we going to do about this, children? I have 3 manga right here. That's right, I do have some manga that I still need to read that can get those numbers real down. Now, Solo Leveling. I own volume 1 in book form. I realize I read this online a long time ago. So actually, I have read this one. I think I'm going to flick through it just to remind myself before I go get volume 2. But I read this online. I think I read it online to make sure that I wanted to buy it in hard copy. But for some reason, I've marked it as that I haven't read it. So I'm going to flip through it, just remind myself, make sure I've read all the way through it. Because I know I've read, like, past the first thing with the big statue guy and stuff like that. What I remember of it, though, I really love the premise. I love the art style. I love the action. I just need to continue on with it. Probably need to continue on online as the chapters release, and then Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, whatever that one is, too. I'm really interested in this whole world and this whole premise, so I really like it, but I am going to flip through it and just refresh myself on it. Then we have The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. It's just based off the game. Bungo Stray Dogs, Volume 1. Yeah, it's the only one that I own of that series, but I'm going to read those 2 manga volumes tonight, then I'm going to get in bed. I'm going to wash dishes, and then I'm going to read these, and I'm going to get in bed and read some more. What I'm going to finish reading next, probably Hillbilly Elegy. I don't know, I think I'm just going to try and focus on reading tonight instead of finishing something besides finishing these tonight, because that will get us down to about 30. Alright, here's where I have a sort of dilemma. So these other 2 books that I bought, I haven't counted the first one in my spreadsheet because I don't know where it is. I know that I own it, but it's probably still in a tote downstairs. No clue where it is. So it's not in my sheet. And then the other one, I do still have here. Like, I know exactly where it is, but like I said, I got a new copy because I needed a better edition after the hell that this one has been through. Mine has been through. But I'm keeping both. My issue is, do I go ahead and enter both of those into the spreadsheet? And let them be duplicates. Or rather, let that one be duplicate and then just enter that one as it is. Because I feel like it's unfair to enter the small one as a duplicate when, like, I haven't even found the original. I know it's here, but I don't know where it is. That's going to affect our percentages, our numbers. It will help me, but is it fair? I say yes, and here's why. Because King of Scars I have not read yet, and I have 2 different editions on it. That's why it's listed twice, because I have 2 different editions. But whenever I read it, and I am planning on reading it before my birthday, it'll count for 2 books instead of just 1. So I'm on like 32 books till I get to 20, or till I get to 80% or whatever. That would take me down to 30. It's going to count as 2 books because it's the same book, just different editions. So, you know what? We're just going to enter it and then see if it shouldn't change it that much. It shouldn't change that much. We're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. You know what? I just had a thought. My thought was, Chey, if we go ahead and enter these 2 that we already own, then we can enter the 2 that we bought, because it'll just cancel each other out, right? It should, because I'm entering 2 that I've read, and then I'm entering 2 that I've not read. So we're just gonna do that. Wow, Chey, it's funny how math works. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Because look what happens if I mark no on these. Watch what happens. So I entered the 2 books that I bought. There's rot hair on my screen. 4 books, sorry. The 2 that I own and I have read, and the 2 that are new to me that I have not read. Watch what happens when I unmark the 2 that I just put up. Let me find them. So that's unmarking 1. Bind it. Yeah, okay. Watch this. Bam. Back down. But put it back up. Basically takes us back up 2. I think I'm going to leave them unmarked. I think I'm going to go with my original thing and be like, those don't count to my birthdays since they are birthday gifts. But I'm going to count the other 2 because I need all the help that I can get. And I'll just try and read one over or something. Help me.
Good morning. I know I didn't update last night, but that's why we're here now. I finished both The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap and Stray Dogs Volume 1. I loved both of them. 5 stars for each. I have never played this Zelda game, but I can tell from what I can gather, it seems like it would be pretty faithful to what I think the game would feel like. The humor, the adventure, the whimsy of it, okay? Let's talk about whimsy. I think I've been reading too many morally gray protagonists lately and just cynical about the world protagonist, because I expected Link to make, like, smart aleck remarks and stuff, like, whenever other characters were kind of giving him grief for, like, making their own smart aleck remarks, but he was just, like, so full of wonder and whimsy, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of what these games are like, you know, just whimsy. So it was a great time. I had a wonderful time here, and now I want to go play the game. It's been a long time since I've played a Zelda game. Like, a long time. Not even Breath of the Wild. I have Breath of the Wild, but I have not played it yet. Yikes. Yeah, wow. What a good time. And Star Wars Volume 1, I love this. I think I read the first chapter to try it before because it was very, very familiar. I was like, wait a minute, yeah, I know this. I certainly didn't finish it because I don't remember any of that, at least. So, I love this. I will be continuing on with the series. I am absolutely in love with my boy. I get it. Give you a TLDR of this series. Dude is an orphan and gets kicked out of his orphanage and then ends up meeting this guy, saving him. Turns out that he works for the Armed Detective Agency, which is a bunch of detectives that have these special supernatural-like skills, and they end up taking him on. Shenanigans ensue. Also turns out that people want him. I can't tell you why, because that would be a spoiler. I mean, it is only Volume 1, but if that's not intriguing enough to you, there's mafia, there's detectives, there's people with abilities. It's fun. I'm having a really good time here. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. I love the art style. Love all the characters so far, and I can actually follow along with the action scenes. Sometimes I get a little bit lost in the sauce on some action scenes just because there's so much going on, but this I follow pretty well. My goals for today, though, gosh dang it, Chey. Why do I have like 7 library holds at the same time? I don't know. I am gonna finish, come hell or high water, I'm gonna finish Hillbilly Elegy today. And I want to try and get very much ahead in Gun Island, because the next ones I want to finish. I think I'm just going to take this video to my birthday, since I'm just making little updates like these. Yeah, now we're down to 30 books, because I finished these 2, so now we're down to like 30. So we're getting there. I thought about saving the easy ones for later on when I really need to double down, but might as well go ahead and do it now. I am losing faith that we're gonna hit the rest of the 30, but then I look at how many are my current reads, and I'm like, okay, I just need to boogie on down. Boogie on down, you know? Hello, friends, family, and all configurations of being. Yes, I did just get out of the shower. No, I can't formulate sentences. I'm gonna read Vampire Kisses, Blood Relatives, Volume 3. This will be our next book, probably, that I shove off with. I am reading Too Hard to Forget, which is not on my physical TBR, but I own book 4 in the Romancing the Clarkson series, whatever, and I don't want to be reading this book, because I don't like Peggy. I don't care. But she's a girl's girl. Well, she's not my girl. You hate girl's girl? No, I hate Peggy. I don't like her. And guess what? I hate the first chapter. I'm almost DNFing this. What do you mean you're saying the Lord's Prayer as you're banging her? Why are we doing this in the first 13 pages in the year of our Lord 2025? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? Is the most cringe thing I've ever read in my life. The Michelangelo of Dirty Talk. First of all, Michelangelo was a painter. So write that down. Note that down. No. I think he got some, as my friend, as my bestie Nat said, some religious purity kink trauma to work through. And it's not for me. I think I'm just gonna kind of skim through this one to read it because I knew I was gonna hate it the entire time. But I want the context for book 4, for Belmont's book, because that one I am curious to see how it ends so I can finish this godforsaken series. And also just get another book off my list. But I wanted to update you on that front since it is relevant. I also think I will pick up Pride and Prejudice, but my 2 main ones tonight are gonna be some of my library loans, these 2, and I think I'm gonna work on Emergency Contact or Black Sun Rising. I'm not quite sure. And this. I'm gonna try to have a nice, good reading night tonight, is what I'm gonna do. And maybe intersperse that with some anime. I have so much to do. But we're getting there. We are back in the time that it took my hair to mostly dry. Vampire Kisses, Volume 3, Blood Relatives. That makes for a finish of this graphic novel manga adaptation of this side series. I won't talk too much about it here because you will see it in an upcoming project. But I liked it. I thought it was a fitting into the series. I love the art style. The humor
peak. I love it. So cute. There was a line and it was like, oh, is that so-and-so? Well, it's certainly not Death Cab for Cutie. What a time capsule of the early 2000s, like, emo culture. I just had such a good time with this. Such a good, fun series. I'm so glad I read this. I wish the ending would have been a little bit more action-packed, but it works. It makes sense, and it works, and it fits, so I'm not mad about it. And now we're down to 30 books. My list says that I now have 2 less books than what I thought it said last night, because I thought it was 556, but now it's saying 554. And I wonder if that's just because I didn't mark those as read. I should go check that, and then editing Chey should put that back here. Actually, no, I'm gonna go do it now. Hold on. That is why. It is because I marked the 2 that I got yesterday that I have not read. I unmarked them, and how I have my formula set up in the spreadsheets is that it only counts a book that I have towards the total if it's marked as yes or no, so that makes sense. We're down to 30.2 to reach 80% of my own books. And here's tonight's general plans. This does not include my library books that I am reading, but besides scripting tonight, these guys, this is my new 10 pages a day book, spoiler alert, and Black Sun Rising, because spoiler alert, I got all 3 in hardback for a pretty good deal on Mercari. I'm very happy about it, so I want to finish my little paperback first, and then these are the ones that I'm going to work on. Some nice easy reading tonight in between scripting and watching some anime. Hell yeah, brother. This just in, we're actually 29 books away from 80%. And I figured that because when I was telling you 30, I was like, that doesn't sound quite right. And it's not right because I forgot to update with Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 1. So that bumped us down to 29. I'm going to put on an audiobook of either 1776 or Pride and Prejudice. And I'm going to make a new tracker for my webtoons that I read. That way I'm getting some TBR and I'm being productive because this is something I've been wanting to do for a hot minute. I think I'm gonna do 1776 just because it's mindless and I can pay attention, and I think I can actually read Pride and Prejudice. I don't know why it intimidates me when I read Dumas for fun. Maybe it's just because I'm like, I don't want to be disappointed by all the girlies that are so hype over Pride and Prejudice. You know, like I want to be one of the girlies, but I fear that I won't be. I don't think I'm gonna hate it. Let me just put it like that. I don't think I'm going to hate it by any stretch of the imagination, but I want to be one of the girlies that loves it. Not that it becomes my entire personality, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I have too many things that are already my entire personality, and it cannot be among them. So I kind of fear that, but I also kind of fear that it'll be so far from that. So I don't know. I might also listen to Dorian Gray. No, I don't have Dorian Gray. That I need to focus on TBR Chey. TBR Chey. I'm not going to talk at length about this, but I did finish it. I finished Hillbilly Elegy, as I predicted last night, just after midnight. I think, like, 12:01 is when I finished it. Anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about it, because I don't want to give a platform to this person who already has too much of one. I will just say, there are a lot of points in here. Overall observations about the way of life, or experiences, I should say, of the poor and working South that I think are spot on. To my experience. Spoke a lot to my own experiences, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I did not a stan. Bootlicker. The more I read it, the more angry I got, because I was like, you're doing the exact same things now that you talk about as being the problem. And it's not the cute Taylor Swift way of, hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. And that's all I'm going to say about it. That is all I'm gonna say about that. I'm glad that I read it, and if you're curious about it, I'd recommend you get it from your library or religion. Don't give this person money. But also, if you want to combat another side of you gotta learn about it. And it's a good first-hand account, at least in my opinion, of the poor and working South's everyday experience. Because, like I said, it spoke to me a lot, especially the experiences at Yale, and like the classism and the lack of perceived upward mobility and hopelessness. Spot on to a freaking T. There's a reason I changed my accent at Georgetown. There's a reason, homie. I read some more in Black Sun Rising. I am still loving this. Reverend Damien Rice is still ruining my life. And I need more people to read this series. I need more people to be in love with Damien as I am. Because I love this man. He's a problem. I am 42% through 1776. Did I tell you that I started reading that? I found the audiobook for it, and on Spotify, it's free on Spotify, and so I started listening to it. It's 11 hours. I almost started listening to Pride and Prejudice, but I think I can stomach through Pride and Prejudice. The reason that I didn't want to read it in book form was because the edition that I have is like the Penguin edition, and the font is like tiny and stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna take forever. But the chapters seem much shorter than I expected, so I think it'll be fine. I am 42% through 1776. I am really enjoying it. Now I'm kind of mad that I started it because I was going to do a somewhat 4th of July video. But I feel like that would be too patriotic. I don't want to be like, yeah, you know what I mean? But it's just that I have so many American Revolution books. So I guess I could do it near July 4th and not seem, because I don't want to be the rah kind of you know what I mean? Like, I just have a bunch of Revolution books that I haven't read. And so I wanted to do a themed video about them. Maybe I'll just start doing it anyway, because it's getting close to July. And I think to cleanse my palate of reading Hillbilly Elegy, I'm gonna knock my coffee over if I'm not careful. Get that off the couch, girl. What are we doing? I don't know. To cleanse my Appalachian palate, I'm going to work on Demon Copperhead next. Atone for my sins, if you will. And I also dragged out book 2 of the Magisterium, Copper Gauntlet, and start working my way through that. We got 9 days. How many can I finish in 9 days? But we're down to 28 books. Need to finish like 3 books a day. Lord help me. Okay, y'all. I'm about to dress like a human being. I'm wearing my very big Beartooth hoodie because I woke up. I'm about to head out to do some errands, but we have a little conundrum I would like to speak to you about. So, turns out that I'm only 27.2 books away from getting 80%. I forgot to mark solo leveling as read in my spreadsheet. But I did that, and it's fine now. However, we have a little bit of a conundrum because I'm so close, right? 27 is, like, relatively close. That's really good. I'm at 75% read now. And if it stayed that way, I am happy with that. We have 416 read, 138 unread. And that's great. I love that for me. The problem is, a significant portion of these books are ones that I'm planning on for videos that I am not yet filming. So honestly, I don't think it's fair to count them towards, because obviously I'm not going to get these videos filmed by my birthday because they're not just like reading vlogs, like they are planned themed things that are going to take like a week or more to do. And I just don't have time for that right now because I'm doing other things. And also I didn't want to do the videos yet. Soon, but not right now because I'm doing other projects. But they are in the works. So I asked Nat, who is the arbiter of all things, and Nat said take them away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see how big of a difference it is. For posterity's sake, I'm going to show you the percentages now, and then I'm going to go through and take those away. Like, I'm not going to mark them as red. I'm not going to cheat like that. I'm not going to mark them as red. I'm just going to take away their options from the formula. That way they don't figure into the formula, and then we'll see how much that changes. I'm still going to try to read as much as possible, but I honestly wonder how much like it's gonna make a difference, because I know there's at least like 10 for not just like for one video, but like for various videos take 10 away, that's 17 books, you know, like it's gonna be a decent chunk. So I'm curious because I want to be fair to myself. Obviously I have 138 to choose from, you know, it's not like it's gonna take up a significant portion, but I want to be fair to myself. And I think y'all can understand that. I want to be fair to myself and be like, I'm not gonna get these read because they're for a video like these. So they shouldn't even, like, there are always gonna be those books on this list, because this is just a list of my own books. It's not just for this challenge. It is like a spreadsheet I'm going to consistently keep up with and refer back to as my own media, right? And so they're in there, but it's not going to be fair to just leave them languishing and hurting my formula for now, for this. Once this is done and once this is over, I'll add them back in. That way I can actually keep up accurately with it. But I don't think it's fair to have them hurting the formula when, like, I know I'm gonna read them. It's just not right now. So let's see. Let me show you where we're at right now, and then I will take away those books and we'll see what the difference is. And also, to help boost it back up, I will add the 2 books that I bought the other day. Remember I told you I took them away? I'll add them back in. That way I have a little bit more balance to the scale. That way we're a little bit more fair. So this is where we're at right now. I'm happy with that ratio. I am very happy with that ratio. But see, there are things on here, I'm obviously not going to tell you which ones, but there are some videos, some books here that I'm like, well, those are gonna be for video. Well, I'll tell you one spoiler alert. This one's gonna be for a video. So I'm not reading it now, but I will. I know I will, and relatively soon. It's not like I look at this and be like, well, that's one I'm gonna get to one day. It's like, no, this is on the list. This is on the docket. So let's go through, take off the ones, and how I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go like that. All right, let's get to it. All right, so after taking off most of the books that I'm going to be using for videos, I left a few on there because the videos are indeterminate date, and so I was like, I'll leave them on there for now, just to be more fair, but I took off the ones that are going to be for videos that I know are in the near future. Yeah, that makes a difference. That's a lot more manageable. I like that a lot better. I like that a lot better. So we're going to go with that as our new number. If you think it's cheating, mind your business. It's not, because I will do those within the next 2 or 3 months. Like, I mean, like, near future, I'm planning on doing those videos. It's just, I'm doing too many projects right now. 14, though, by my birthday. That's a lot more manageable. That's like a book or so a day. We can do this. We can do this. Greetings, Earthlings. I have news. So talking about some easy wins. Need some easy wins, right? I have 4 books here, which we will finish today. Oran High School Host Club, Volumes 1 and 2, and Skullface Bookseller, Honda-san, Volumes 3 and 4. That will knock down a significant portion of our trials and tribulations today. I am also loving Black Sun Rising, to no one's shock. My goal is to read 200 more pages in this today. I think I can do it. Because tell me why this man gets absolutely bodied and almost does not return to consciousness with us. Yet when he does, one of the first few words out of his mouth is asking where his woman is. I'm going to crash out. Okay? Okay? Damien Rice is ruining my life. And I can't stop saying that because it's true. I am getting the hardcover volumes in very soon. I'm very excited about it because I can't wait to annotate those. I'm hoping that I love the last 2 as much as I love this one. But yeah, I want to finish this one tonight, but I have too many other things that I'm focusing on, so my goal is just 200 pages, which I think is pretty doable. And I want to read 100 pages in Johannes Cabal, and I want to read 100 pages in Demon Copperhead. I think that's realistic. I mean, for a girl that can read 28K in a month, you'd think a couple hundred would be doable. We'll see. We'll see. I'll update when. I look like I've been through a war zone. Wow, that's what reading 3 manga in a row and then a Substack article will do to you, I guess. I did not yet finish Oran Volume 2, because, like I said, I look like I've been through a war zone, so I'm taking a break. But I did finish Volumes 3 and 4 of Honda-san, and this actually finishes out the series for me, which is awesome. Another series finished. I'm just gonna bulk review both of these. I like the series. It's a short, little, fun, whimsical, mostly like memoir-esque. What is the word that I'm looking for? My brain has turned to mush. Autobiographical, just like vignettes of this person's experience working as a bookseller, taking their real life stories and translating them into fun, whimsical tales for the rest of us. Stories from retail. Horror story. Not horror stories. The horrors of working in retail. The fun, lighthearted moments of it. The relationships built between coworkers. And also some really fascinating insights into what 2 accents that I just try to have in the same sentence there. Some fascinating insights into like how the book and publishing industry works. Volume 4 was mostly extras, but still fun. Overall, I like the series. It's a fun little series. If you want, obviously it's only 4 volumes. If you want a short series and you're interested in book selling and you just like reading other people's experience of their work lives and just some fun stories with other human beings, I am not selling this to you very well. I recommend the series. That's all I'm going to say. Just a fun time. Great time. I'm just going to recommend it to you. If you want a short, lighthearted, yet I feel like it's unique, like especially the art style and the way that the coworkers and the individual stories are perceived. I love stories that are vignettes. Yes, I love character-based things. Yes, I love kind of slice-of-life things. So if that stuff is up your alley, check this out. I'd recommend you check it out anyway, because it is only 4 volumes, so why not? Oran High School Host Club, Volume 1. Wow. It's a lot to the eyes. And you know what? To the credit of the author, they mentioned that at the end. They're like, I didn't realize how jam-packed it was going to be for the eyes. I'm so sorry. Because it's just all so jam-packed. Like, it is very packed. And also, Skullface bookseller is very, very wordy too, so my eyes have just been like, because this is very detail-oriented art, not quite Hayashida art, but like not like Dorohedoro level of like, what is that? Is that a hand? You know? But still, jam-packed. I love it. This was a middle school anime awakening for me, as it probably was a lot of other people, but I'm just now getting around to reading it in manga form. Oops. I enjoyed it. It is a fun trip down nostalgia lane. I'm still loving it as much as I love the anime. I feel like it's a little bit disjointed, because sometimes I turn the page and I'm like, wait, we're in a different day now? Wait, what? And so that was a little bit jarring to me, but the story, the pacing is a little bit odd to me, I should say that, because, like I said, I'd turn the page and be like, wait, different day, something else is happening now? Or like, wait, when did this happen? But otherwise, the story itself, I'm still loving all the characters. I'm still loving the story. I love the way that it's playing out. My ultimate red flag, I don't think it's a red flag. I've always loved Tamaki. Okay, my toxic trait, I guess, he's always been my favorite. I love a stupid light-haired man. What can I tell you? I love me an idiot. And the author's like, yeah, he just, he's supposed to be a narcissistic, like, annoying guy, and he just ends up being an annoying idiot. And I was like, it's my man you're talking about. It's my man you're talking about. And he's still, like, my favorite, besides, Kyoya. So, yeah, I'm having a good time. I will finish this today. I will. I just need to rest my eyes, because I'm about to challenge a man to drive a barge with me. So, that's something you gotta rest up for. Indeed. Real quick, just to update you, because I didn't do it the other day, and I'm about to leave and go to my house and leave my parents' house. And so I will be leaving this book behind. I finished Oran Volume 2. I liked it a lot. Great continuation of the first, exactly all the nostalgic feels I know and love. I love getting to spend time with these characters. I did feel that the spacing issue was a little bit more settled in here. I didn't feel as, I almost said like disjaunted, but I guess that makes sense, because each jaunt I felt a little disjointed in the first one, but it's not so bad as in this one. So I have hopes and dreams that it will continue to improve. I love getting to see all the little shenanigans I know and love, and can't wait to see the further adventures and the further in the depths that we go with these characters that I already know and love, but I know I'm gonna know and love even more. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm making more progress on this. The one that I've already packed it up, but I am 230 something pages into the Brothers Cabal. I am definitely gonna finish it tonight. I'm gonna do my darndest to finish it tonight, and do my darndest to finish this tomorrow night. I want to finish 2 books a day at this rate, which I kind of need to do. I got some more book mail in today, but I'm not counting those, because technically they're not in my possession. I may have ordered them, but I'm giving them to my parents to give to me for my birthday. See, sometimes my parents, like, don't know how the app, like, they don't have smartphones and stuff, lucky them, and so sometimes I get on the app and get stuff from my wish list, because they don't have apps, they don't know how to do that. And so I'm just like, here, you give it to me, and I'm gonna use my ADHD and forget that I have this, and then you give it to me as a birthday present. Or Christmas, or whatever. And so that's what's the deal with that. So technically they're not in my possession until my birthday. I get an outsy. And also a couple of them are books that I have already read. I just didn't own physical copies of them. So, yeah. Besides that, what are we gonna do? I don't know, but I gotta head to my house now, so... We finished another book, 1776. This has been on my shelf for way too long. I mostly listen to the audiobook of it. I do mean like 85% of it. But when I went to go move my bookmark earlier today to like see how far I was, just so I could get a representation, I saw that I was like 40 pages from finishing it, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read it physically. I'm gonna finish it and read it physically. So that's what I just did, and I enjoyed it. This is a 5-star nonfiction for me. I have a lot of this author's works. I mean, he's a pretty freaking prolific nonfiction author, and biography and memoir and stuff like that. But I had never read, because I'm a little bit intimidated. I have a love-hate relationship with nonfiction, especially ever since college and being a history major and political science major and stuff like that. Nonfiction can either be done well or horribly. And if you read nonfiction, you know what I'm talking about. And of course, it's subjective too. But I can't take just data after data after data because my brain wants to try and remember as much as possible. And that's just not feasible, at least in terms of like actually remembering and retaining information. The best nonfiction, in my opinion, is the nonfiction that is written like someone is telling you all these things while you're sitting in a restaurant having dinner with them. You may not remember every single detail, but you come away remembering the important parts and maybe a few little things here and there that stick out to you, and you probably wouldn't mind reading it again, maybe, or listening to them again, whatever. This is what that does. This is so well written, so well researched. The prose is so easy to read, so easy to digest. I mean, even just listening to it on audiobook, I never felt like I had to rewind a lot or go back and catch myself up. That being said, it probably helps that I am very, very familiar with this time period in history. So if I did kind of, I'm like, yeah, I know what's happening here. Yeah, I know the details of this. Yeah, I know who Henry Knox is. I know who Nathaniel Greene is. And it's not just because of Hamilton, which, no shade, if that's, your thing. If you want a really good nonfiction book that if you're American and you kind of need a little serotonin boost about hope for the place where we live, I'd recommend this because it's not rah rah rah. I almost did the Lady Gaga thing. It's not rah 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 in the icky way patriotism. It's just like, wow, people against adversity, man. Like, strength of character of the people, and yeah, it's inspiring and it's eye opening. And it's really well balanced. It's not, that's why I say like it's not rah 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 patriotism, because obviously there's facts that not everyone that fought on the side of the revolution was a good person. Not everything the revolution did was good. Wow, shocker. Back to the point, Chey. Really well done nonfiction, really well balanced. I didn't feel like it tilted either way, and when certain things were presented, the author does a good job of being like, in actuality, this is what was going on, without being snarky about it, because I've read some nonfiction where it's like, oh, Jefferson said this in his letter. In actuality, it was that, and it's like, okay, bro, guy's been dead for like 200 years. You got beef with him, do it on your blog post, okay? You know what I mean? Like, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to get your takes on it. I want to read that somewhere else. So, really well balanced, really well researched. I like this, and I will be picking up more nonfiction by this author, because I do have some more. But wow. Okay, we're down to 9 more books. 9 more books, and I can tell you right now, this is going to be the next one. I have less than 100 pages to go in this. Do I want to break my own heart and go ahead and read the 5th book? Because that will finish this entire series for me. Do I finish another series before my birthday? I'm absolutely devouring this, okay? I love horse. We finally got some action with Johannes getting in on it. Like, the first 3/4 of this book are pretty much just Horst giving a "this is what you missed on Glee" kind of thing. But now we got the bros together. Chaos is ensuing. I cannot wait. To annotate this. Are you joking me? I had to start taking a pencil and annotating it because I was like, I can't wait. I can't keep waiting to get my highlighters and stuff together in my tabs. So I just grabbed a pencil, and then I'm going to go through later, maybe put on another audiobook later and go through and actually annotate this. I'm having such a wonderful time. As for the other things I'm going to try and read, I don't know that I'm going to finish anything else tonight besides this one, but the things I'm going to be working on, Copper Gauntlet, I think I can definitely finish this for my birthday. I just got to actually get on it. And Black Sun Rising, I'm going to work on tonight. Got 1 book down today, not so bad, but we need to finish another one tonight, which I'm fairly confident we will. And yeah, I'll get back to you when I'm probably crying about Horst and Johannes. I finished it. I finished book 4. Y'all. 5 mother stars. 5 motherflipping stars. Volume 5, book 5. I've said this repeatedly. I'm pretty sure it's going to rip my heart out of my chest. I hope it's going to be in a good way. I hope that they can finally, get a happy ending. This book ended on a happy note. But, I know there's going to be pain ahead. This is probably, it's tied for my favorite. I love book 2, and it makes so much sense why I would love this book in conjunction with that, because there's a lot of threads from book 2 that wove their way through book 3, and now they're all coalescing into book 4. I love the pacing of the story. I love the timing. That's the same thing, Chey. But there are so many little elements scattered throughout these books that they're woven together so well in a way that they don't come into play until they're ready. Sometimes books, especially in a series, are too heavy-handed when they introduce elements and you're like, that's going to be a surprise plot tool that's going to help us later. The evil is defeated for now, but at what cost, you know? I love this series because things happen and you're like, wow, that was a ride, that arc is over, but that thing could come back, but it's not for sure. And then other things come back in a way that you did not expect, and in a way that interweaves with the other ways that you did not expect. Magnificent plotting, magnificent story writing. I love this so much. Very close to tears at the end. If I hadn't been so focused on just trying to get this finished and trying to see what happened, I probably would have stopped to cry, because there were some moments where I was like, listen, I've read a lot of romance and there is nothing sadder, like a lot of tragic romance, and there is nothing sadder than something that I just read. One of the parts that I just read. I love Johannes and Horst so much. Several times in the span of one page, I'd be like, my baby, and then I'd be like, my baby. I love them. I love their characters. I love their dynamics so much. Listen, Johannes and Horst are not a hear me out. They are a hold me back, okay? I love them both so much. I love this world so much. I don't want it to end. I cannot wait to annotate the hell out of this. If book 5 is not a 5-star, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Granted, at the end of this book, the author is like, this is where you should stop reading because this is the good end. He's like, I'm telling you, shoo, get out of here. And I'm like, I just want them to have a happy ending. Okay, I want my boys to have happiness. I am loving Johannes' journey discovering his character growth. I don't want to spoil it for you too much. I am loving his character growth. I am loving the dynamics between him and Horst as they're both growing in their own ways, and the way that Horst is seeing that Johannes has grown in his absence. Their comedic duo, I need them in a buddy cop movie. I need these to be made into movies, but I need to make the movies to make sure that they're done right. You know what I mean? I'm sure you get that feeling. I don't trust anyone else to do it. Maybe besides the author. The author could do an amazing job. But me. If it has to be fan-made, it has to be me. Okay? I love this series so much. I need more people to read it. I need fan art. I'm not an artist. I need fan art. And I need things. I need merch of this. I need to get better at art so I can make my own merch of this. I need a Cabal Brothers, like, carnival pin. I need the warfighters, all the different societies, and the writing and the descriptions and the... Don't even get me started on the prose. I just love this so much. Okay, I blabbered enough. Do you understand how much I love this? Cool. Alright, what am I gonna read now? I've got the bouquet, the backy here. I've got this here, so I'm gonna try and read this because, and I am gonna be cheating a little bit, not really, but cheating. So this has like a super long appendix going over the details of it and stuff. Like, the historical context is like 10 pages, as well as like the introduction. I don't want to read that. I took classes on Greek and Romans and stuff. I don't need to read all that. I just got this to actually have the play itself. So that's the part that I'm going to read, and that's the part that I'm going to count as reading this book, considering that is the purpose that I got it for. So, cheating, not cheating, I don't care what you think. It's my book, and I say that it'll count if I just read the play. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'll probably go back and read the historical context later, because I do want to study this more, but I'm studying a different period in history right now, learning. So anyway, that's gonna be my next read for today. And then I'm hanging out with my cousin later as a little pre-birthday celebration. So if I have time between doodling around and reading that, I'll probably read more of To the Limit, or probably Black Sun Rising, or The Copper Gauntlet. I have been reading a little bit more in Demon Copperhead, but definitely not gonna finish that today. So, anyway, that's it for now. Check in with you later. I also forgot to tell you, I finished Getter Robo Devolution Volume 2. I only own Volume 2. I don't own Volume 1, so I had to go find the ebook of Volume 1 online. This is apparently a reimagining of the original Getter Robo, which I didn't even know was a thing. I originally found Volume 2 when I was in the bargain section of Books A Million, and I was like, this looks sick, the art style is sick, and so I bought it. I like Volume 2 better than Volume 1, which is a good thing, considering that I own Volume 2 and not 1. But now I'm considering, sorry, I had to screenshot one of the panels that I'm going to try and sketch. You see my glasses. One of the panels I'm going to try and sketch later, because that's how I learn as an artist. Anyway, I like volume 2 more than 1. That glare was bothering me. Lightning detected 0.6 miles from my location. 4! I like volume 2 more than volume 1, because volume 1, I don't know if it's just because I haven't read the original series, so I'm lacking a little bit of context. Volume 1, though, just, like, the pacing was weird. It was a little bit too quick. I couldn't get invested. I had really no context or basis for what was going on. I didn't feel introduced to the story. I just felt like, figure it out! And it's a little bit jarring, but it was fine, and so I gave it 3 stars. This one, though, did a lot better with pacing and character development, getting me invested, getting me interested, and actually having some character growth among the characters and differentiating them with their own individuality. So, I am going to continue on with it. Don't know if I'm going to go buy the series, but I'll continue, like, getting the ebooks from, wherever, and continue on with it, at least for now, because I'm curious. But yeah, I liked volume 2, which is good because I own it. That's where we are now. So we're down to 7. We're down to 7 books. Hell yeah, baby. We can do this. We can do this 4 days. 4 days. It's going to be 3 days. But the bouquet is going to be the 7th one, so we'll be down to 6 in 3 days. 2 books a day. Can I do it? We're going to try. We're really, really going to try. Chey here. It is June 8th. Guess what? I didn't finish the bouquet yesterday, but I will be finishing it in a few minutes. I am coming to update you with some diggity dog good news. We are actually down to 6 books, and I haven't even finished this one yet. Why? Chey, did you finish another one? Yes, back in 2021 that I forgot about. So I was moving some of my books from my bookshelf that I have not read, like nonfiction, onto my TBR shelf now that I have some room. Yay. And I was looking at one, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've read this, but I don't remember. And I remembered that I had marked it as unread on here, just because, like, I thought that I probably hadn't. But I went and looked on my Goodreads. Yeah, I read it. I read it March 27th, 2021, which is, I hadn't even graduated from college yet. So and that was, prime COVID times. So it's understandable that I would have forgotten. So Revolutionary Summer, The Birth of American Independence by Joseph Ellis is a yes instead of a no. And now we are at 21.11111111111% unread. We got 6 more. We got 6 more. This is going to be down to 5. I will take every single win that I can get. Do I try and book it to finish King of Scars tonight? That way I can mark off 2 books as being unread. Probably not. I'm going to read The Comper Gauntlet tonight. After I read this, and I'm going to work on finishing some other books. That's where we're at right now. Cool. I don't know what this is. Talk to you later. Alright, y'all. It's the 9th, and I'm not going to lie. I pretty much basically wasted the morning, but it's not noon yet. And I stopped what I was doing, my doom scrolling, so I'm proud of myself. I just know that I'm anxious and I need to get on it. So I'm going to be doing Anime sprints. Since it's 11:30, I'm going to start with a short 30-minute sprint and just get into reading, and then I'm going to have some lunch, and I'm probably going to do an hour's worth of editing because I have a couple of projects that I want to get done before I leave tomorrow to go stay at my parents' for my birthday. Then, alternating this afternoon, I'm also going to go for an hour walk on my walking pad just to get some movement in. I don't want to work out because I think I mentioned that, like, I might, hopefully don't, but, like, in case I might have COVID, I don't want to make it worse, but I do want to still get some movement in, and I'm anxious about not working out. That's really what's getting to me. But between that, I am going to have Anime sprints of, like, hours of editing until I get those done, which I don't think will take too long, and then hours of reading. So, hell yeah. Let's talk about bouquet. There's nothing bouquet. I just know it feels wrong to say it that way. The bouquet. The backy. I know backy's not right. It's bouquet, right? I took Greek and Roman classes. Yeah, it's bouquet. I almost said the classist. That's a completely different subset of people. The classic students are going to come for me, and I'm going to end up looking like this. But honestly, that's kind of sick. I wouldn't be that mad about it. This is a play following, basically, Dionysus, whatever his freaking name is, Mr. Grape Man. Mr. The original Welch's grape soda Kool-Aid man from Greek mythology. Basically, bro gets turned up about the fact that these homies don't think that he's a god. They don't think that they think that his mama was playing around about his origin, that he's really not like the spawn of Zeus. So he gets mad and starts bodying some fools, but he does it in a clever way where he's like, yo, you don't believe that like I am who I say I am? You about to learn today. And so everyone else, you know, is reveling in him, going mad with frenzy or whatever. And really girl power, really feminism. What we need is a phenomenon, you know? And I don't want to spoil it for you, but boy learns. He kind of loses his head about it, really. But he learns about, you know, hubris, that's what it is. It's hubris. Anyway, that's done. I think next, I listened to a little bit more of Demon Copperhead on audio, which I think I'm gonna do later tonight when I need to get my eyes off of a page thing. I'm gonna finish my tabs, because I really want to get that done too before I go home. That way, when I read Johannes Cabal, I can annotate it while I'm reading it. I've decided I'm not gonna try and finish it before my birthday, because since it's the last book, I actually want to take my time with it and annotate it while I'm reading it and enjoying it, so that will not be in this vlog, but I will probably have it in another vlog. That being said, I think to get myself back into it, I want to start with something that I'm kind of in the middle of. So do I do Emergency Contact or do I do Black Sun Rising? I think I'm going to read a little bit on The Hunting Wives and then Emergency Contact. I think that's what I'm going to do for just this 30-minute sprint. Break team, go! I said go! Another victory. I woke up this morning and I finished Emergency Contact. I binged like 200 pages of this last night. It's that easy to read. To be fair, a lot of the pages are just like text messages, so it went really, really fast. I'm so conflicted on this book. I want to give it a 4-star. I will give it a 5-star for Sam. I love Sam. Really, it's more of a high 3 because Penny just irked me sometimes. You know, for a character who's like supposedly very socially conscious, she's also very micro-misogynist, like talking about how her professor is the true essence of nerdy glamour, not like those girls on Tumblr who are posing in their underwear pretending to play Call of Duty first-person shooter. Like, ma'am, do you not see the irony? And also talking about how, like, she likes writing females in sci-fi more than males because then she gets to embed them with more empathy and more pain tolerance. Ma'am? You not see the irony of overgeneralization of the micro thing? You not? And also, she has a comment in here being like, if it wasn't utterly Appalachian, and then says something insulting. Again, with the overgeneralizations as an Appalachian, I take offense to that, because that's not an Appalachian sentiment now, especially considering the state of things. So that just irked me. That really irked me. But overlooking those things, I thought it was really good. I'm a simp for the romance. I am a simp for the letter. Are you kidding me? That email broke me. That email broke something inside of me. Because where's my Sam? That's all I gotta ask. Where's my Sam? Where's my Sam? I related the way that he talked about Penny. I was like, wow, where's mine? Is mine stuck in the mail somewhere? Mine get stuck in UPS somewhere? Probably. More like it got stuck in a tree somewhere and I gotta go get him or something like that. But I love it. I'm like, that is how I want to be seen. Because it was funny because in Penny's point of view, there was some that I related to, but I related more to Penny in the way that Sam saw Penny, which is so interesting. Because the way that he was describing her, or the way that she was described by other people and stuff, I was like, that me. That me, and like the way he saw her and stuff. So, I don't know. And it, like I said though, it's interesting that I didn't feel that strongly whenever it was in her point of view. I love Sam. I love the whackness of this book. I love her ADHD-ness, which the non sequiturs and speaking Penny. You gotta speak Chey to speak Chey. I'm not implying anything about this friend. I want to put that in context, but just in terms of speaking Chey, I think it's funny. So there's a friend who I've known for over a decade now, which is so weird to be like, I'm so old. I've known some of my friends over a decade. But we lost touch over the past couple years just because of life and stuff like that. And we recently got back into contact with each other after like almost like 6 years of basically not talking except for like once every blue moon. And so I've started texting them unhinged things every single morning because that's just what I do. And the other morning I texted them and the only thing I said was, "Good morning. The day of my womb emergence approaches." Nothing else. If you didn't know, my birthday is tomorrow, so that's what that's about. I didn't have to explain that to them. Did not have to explain it. They texted me back at 7 a.m. the next day and said, when's your birthday again? They knew. They knew automatically. For further context, I told that to a person I dated for 5 years, and I told that same sentence to my childhood best friend. Neither of them got it. Well, the person I dated for 5 years was like, oh, I thought it was either that, the correct thing, or something else. But this friend that I texted to was the only one to get it, like, automatically. It takes a certain type of person to speak Chey. You know, it's fine. I gotta find a translator app. Someone should make a Chey translator app. That would be funny. I actually don't. It'd probably be mean. I'm about to head to my parents' house for my birthday stuff. Today's plan, I gotta finish 4 more books. The plan is I'm gonna extend this to my birthday day, actually, because I said by my birthday, and my birthday's technically not over till midnight tomorrow. So I am gonna extend it. That was kind of always the plan anyway. It wasn't gonna be like by midnight tonight. Sorry to disappoint you for all you masochists out there. I am planning on finishing, where's my shiz? Gun Island, because I'm on page 71 now, and I know that I can crank through it to the limit. The Copper Gauntlet, and I'd really like to finish Demon Copperhead. I'm probably gonna have to finish it on audio, but I'm gonna take the actual book home with me, and I don't know where Black Sun Rising went, but I'm gonna try and finish that too. Oh, it's down here. Ow. So those are my stacks. That's what I'm going to take home to try and read. I have nothing to do today but to go to my parents' house and read and maybe spend some time outside. I might take Pride and Prejudice, but I don't want to overburden myself. I think I'm also going to take a couple small books. This is always the problem. I'm like, oh, I want to take all this. I want to take all this. I want to take all this. Chey, we can only do so much. Okay, status report later.
Fancy saying.
NANI?!
Hey, little dude. That's what you do. You go. Hey, little dude.
How are we doing, fam? It is... I looked for my phone to check the date, and I'm filming on my phone. Georgetown graduate right there. It is June 16th? June 17th? One of those days. Which is a really good movie, by the way. Watched that with my cousin. Was expecting a crappy, like, comedy, because comedy movies these days, boomer Chey, I know. But it was actually really good. I really, really liked it. It was a fun time. I should have had more faith in my girls, and they delivered. It was a fun movie. That is off topic. Okay, ooh, be careful with that arm motion, Chey. We almost hit the wrong angle there. It's clearly past my birthday, and you're wondering, Chey, this does not seem like the angle for a wrap-up, and you would be correct. We are extending this by about 2 days, because I said I was going to extend it into the weekend for Jan's readathon. You know what I forgot? That the weekend was when we were going to be doing my birthday stuff, since my birthday hit the middle of the week, and my parents wanted to do something for my birthday, but obviously they have work. And then also Father's Day was Sunday, so I was spending time with my dad. So I got zilch done. I got zilch. I got 0. Also, I'm surprised my hair looks this good because I just got done working out. Literally just got done. Did my workout, made my yogurt, and went and put on my sweater from Crumbs and Whiskers in DC. It's a cat cafe in DC where all the cats are adoptable. Go check them out. Non-sponsored, not just my own promo because they're awesome, and I don't own many things that are pink and not Beartooth. So you know this is important. So I've decided to extend it by about a few days. Is this cheating? No, because it's my TBR and what I say goes. And also, all of my books that were ordered as gifts for my birthday have not come in yet, so I'm technically not gonna count those until they all arrive, right? Any kind of logic to make it stretch, baby. And that's what she said. We are only 3 books away, though. We're only 3 books away from hitting 80%. And it's absolutely doable. I have the Copper Gauntlet right here. I'm, like, already halfway through it. Oh, sorry. I'm, like, halfway through Gun Island. I am 20-something% through Demon Copperhead. I'm cruising it. I'm crushing it. Believe me, we can get it done. I'm going to try and finish Copper Gauntlet tonight and maybe Gun Island tonight, or at least get very, very close and listen to some more Demon Copperhead tonight. but we're only going to extend it through Tuesday. So whatever happens by the end of Tuesday, granted that I do not have a mental breakdown or, some kind of act of divine vengeance or something happens, we're going to end it Tuesday. I did finish Get Alive Chloe Brown, though. I'm not going to tell you about it right now, though, because I actually want to go get the book and hold it and talk to you about it. I am shaking you a lot. Are you having shaken's viewer syndrome? I'm sorry. But so that's where we're at right now. We are 3 away. We are 79.44444%, so I can't even round it up. If I get one more book, it'll be 79.66666, I think. Because 666.8888 and then round over will be 80, right? That math sounds correct. All my statisticians in the chat, how many statisticians are there here? There's probably 1 or 2. I'm not among you, are probably like, that's not correct. Do I look like I math? Cool. Awesome. Tap in, team! Ooh, baby, a triple! We did it. We did it. It may be Thursday, but we did it. So Tuesday, I ended up just doing a lot of digital decluttering and scripting and various things of that nature, so I didn't get to read that much. And I knew I was on the cusp of greatness. And so I powered through, and today I finished Copper Gauntlet, but I've been waiting, because I was like, why not just update you on all of these at the same time? That way we can get the hell out of here. What about that? Actually, let's go over Chloe Brown first, since I finished it first of the group. Get Alive, Chloe Brown. This was gifted to me from Bree. I think it was Bree. I'm pretty sure it was Bree. 99% sure it was Bree, because I was texting her about it. It is. It is from Bree. So thank you, Bree, for gifting this to me my last birthday or Christmas. God, Chey, can you read and retain memory, short-term memory? Merry Christmas. Yeah. Okay, this was a Christmas gift. Thank you, Bree, because this became a 5-star romance for me so quickly. I was literally texting her in the middle of this, and I was like, my boy Red, I'm a simp. I'm a simp for the male MC. He is my favorite brand of golden retriever with shelter dog Riz. I just love him. I love both of these characters. The banter, top notch. The communication, great. And I felt like when it fell through, it was because it made sense, not that it was there for dramatic effect. I felt like it actually played into the structure that had already been set up for the story and the trauma that these two characters had faced. It wasn't just, oh, he looked at me the wrong way, like Housewives style, where it's like, I saw the way that she looked at me over dinner, I'm not talking to her. No, it wasn't any of that stupid crap. It actually made sense. They were a couple I was rooting for from like chapter 2 immediately. I love Red. I'm a simp for Red. I love her. I love Chloe. I am interested in continuing the series. But yeah, I love this. This was so quickly a 5-star for me. Halfway through, I started highlighting and then I had to go back. I know I'm gonna read this, like reread this and annotate it some more. But I went through and I was highlighting the stuff that made me be like, ooh! So that is what all my little pink highlights are. They are my, oh goodness, oh good lord, swoon type highlights, Mostly Red simping for her, but is what it is. Okay, the next one was Where Did You Go? The next one was Gun Island, and this is one that was also gifted to me by Ashlyn. Thank you, Ashlyn. I'm sorry, I'm finally getting to it. This was a birthday gift, right? This is the one that I was thinking as the birthday gift. This was last year's birthday gift. A fun novel. I mean, not fun, but important and fun to read. Let me clarify it like that. I think this book has probably been talked to death in certain spheres of YouTube, but the environmental consciousness within here mixed with the commentary on classism and the interweaving of how we all connect and all these problems interconnect and how they importantly intersect with history mixed with some kind of mysticism, which I think is fitting considering the setup of this book. I loved it. I loved it. I will say, if I hadn't grown more comfortable in the past few years reading, I'm just going to say it outright, reading more diversely, which, I mean, yay, that's a good thing. I think if I hadn't started reading more diversely in college or been introduced to more diverse authors, that I may have found the writing style a little bit awkward. Not bad, but just awkward. But it kind of reminds me the way that the prose is written. It kind of reminds me of White Tiger, if any of you have read that, which was a great book from what I remember. And so I liked this. I liked White Tiger, so I liked this, even just for the prose alone. I liked the storytelling setup. I liked like I said, all the consciousness commentary mixed with the mysticism. And I like that it wasn't too heavy-handed throughout. I like that it actually fit within the context of the story and what it was trying to do. It made me uncomfortable to read at times because I was like, oh, I know this is reality. Like, it's mysticism in parts, but mixed with unfortunately our reality. I think it was an important read. It was really well done. I like that the ending is kind of open-ended, but also closes a lot of doors. It was good. It was good. I did not think it was going to take me as long to read as I did, because whenever I did happen to pick it up, I would read it a bunch at a time. But I'm also glad that I took my time with this. So I'm very glad that I read this. This was a 4 out of 5 star for me, but like 5 star in spirit, you know? I'm trying to be a little bit more strict about my 5 stars? I don't know. Okay, speaking of 5 stars though, something that was legitimately a 6 star if I could, which, you know what, I make the rules here. Demon Copperhead. I can make a whole video talking about how much this book validated my entire existence and childhood growing up with institutional poverty and just being in Appalachia and rural deep south. Ooh, baby, a dribble. I don't know why I'm stuck on that stem lately. I have the cover on upside down. I took the cover off. Wow. It is hard describing to people who did not grow up here, even people that grew up here, if they didn't grow up with the classism and the institutional poverty that keeps so many people trapped. It feels basically impossible to explain the experience. It really does. This nails it. Hits every nail on the freaking head. The way that by chapter 6, it was getting into some really dark stuff, and I tried to put myself in the objective mindset of like, what is the average person that did not grow up like this, like reading this and experiencing it. And by chapter 6, I was like, ooh, this is dark. But me being subjective, having lived this experience, I was like, yeah, that sounds normal. When they're talking about being out in the front yard and like fighting for the life and watching the baby in the house and stuff, which I'm not going to say which characters because that would be a spoiler, but just talking about that, I was like, yeah, what? Yeah. The darkest stuff that is in this book. Hello? The darkest stuff in this book, most of it is just normal. It's just normal to what I grew up with, the conditions in which I grew up with. Maybe not experienced personally, like some of the stuff, you know, with the opioid epidemic and stuff like that, not personally myself, but either like family members or friends and friends of family members. Everything that seems dark and you're like, oh my gosh, grasp my yeah, that's just life. That is the experience I grew up with that I could not encapsulate and explain to people how traumatic it was. And so many parts that spoke to my soul, because I feel like to have any pride in being a rural Appalachian or a hillbilly, you're immediately looked at as like, you incest-wielding piece of... People look down on us, and you can't... I feel like it's hard to claim it with any pride, that history of resilience and determination and diligence and ingenuity without seeming like the stereotype of some of the unsavory elements of our society that are now associated with other unsavory elements of our society at this moment in time in America. You know what I mean? But we're not all like that. But it's hard to claim any pride in it when those are the loudest voices that are speaking up, you know? And this does a better job at showcasing the conditions that led to a lot of the current conditions than J.D. Vance's book could ever hope to do. And this is fiction. I guess Charles Dickens just did it best first, and then Barbara came in and was like, here we go. Same time, different time. Same problems. There's a line in here talking about how the hillbillies of the world, like all the jokes and stuff that we hear that are constantly at our expense, like the stereotypes and stuff like that, is like that one kid in the bathroom that y'all joke and laugh and talk about, like you would never say the mean things to the kid's face, but then you joke about it with your friend in the bathroom, and then that kid comes out of the stall and you know that they heard every word. That hillbillies are that kid in the stall that we can hear you. And I was like, yep, yeah, 100%. And the end of this book, talking about, like, this is dedicated to, like, every kid. Where is it? No, I'm gonna do it justice, and I'm gonna read it, because this has the most beautiful last line of any acknowledgement I've ever read in my life, but more beautiful than any dedication I've ever read in my life, and you can fight me about that. It says, "For the kids who wake up hungry in those dark places every day, who've lost their families to poverty and pain pills, whose caseworkers keep losing their files, who feel invisible or wish they were, this book is for you." Shut up. Absolutely 5 freaking stars for me. There was one line that got me the most that I literally told Liv. I was like, I need to talk to you about this right now. I think it was chapter 14. But there was one line specifically that when I heard it in the audiobook, because I was tandem reading this with the audiobook and the physical book, that's what tandem reading Chey means, thank you. When I heard it, I was like, that's it. That sums up my entire experience with this existence with institutional poverty and classism and just all the issues that our people, like, face, that the area faces, I should say. Our people seems divisive, but, like, the area and the people are people in it. Everyone, inclusive. You hear me? Inclusive. The main character is talking to a caseworker, and she says, "Hey, why so glum, chum?" I told her nobody ever asked me that question before, about growing up and what I wanted to be, so I didn't know. Mainly, still alive. Yeah! That's it! That's it! She nailed it! That's the end of the book! She nailed it! That's basically all you need to say. No hopes and dreams, aspirations, because it doesn't seem like we're ever gonna get anywhere, because, the powers that be keep us tethered, keep us smothered, on purpose. Marx was right about one thing. It is the classist. Anyway, so can you tell I love Demon Copperhead? Can you tell that I loved it? If you really want a true insight into the deep Appalachian experience, the deep rural South experience, read that book. Read that book. But be warned of trigger warnings of all kinds. Oh my god, read it. But if you want the true in-depth look, maybe if you can't handle the trigger warnings, just look up a summary. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not as powerful as actually reading it. Alright, and the last book, The Copper Gauntlet Magisterium Book 2. This is a book that I got a while back. Can you tell by the old Scholastic sticker? Pretty sure I got this at a book fair in high school and I've just had it. The reason I have not read it is because I did not realize for the longest time, Book 2, that there was a book before it, and then I just never got Book 1, and so this just sat on my shelves. But I got Book 1 from my library a while back, read it, enjoyed it. This is like a middle grade fantasy written by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. If you are missing the Harry Potter shaped hole in your life, if you are nostalgic for that kind of thing and you want a middle grade to kind of soothe that ache because you don't want to outwardly support something like that anymore, I think this is a good series to do it. It follows wizard children. But it's kind of a little bit Percy Jackson-esque in, like, the quest and stuff like that, but there is, like, an overarching big bad. I enjoy it. It is middle grade. I'd say it's lower middle grade, but that didn't stop my enjoyment of it. I liked this second book. I can't really go into it without spoilers, but I will be continuing on casually with the series. I don't know if I'm going to buy all the series. I probably will read all the series, though, because I am enjoying it that much. Okay, that being said, we're now done. We have read 80% of my own books as of right now because I haven't put the rest into the spreadsheet. Wow, I'm so proud of myself. I got one goal done. Did I get it technically done before my birthday? No, but it's less than 10 days after my birthday, so I think it's fair. I think it counts. I'm so very proud of myself. It feels so good. I never want to have read every single one of my books. Maybe just to say that I have at one point, but I don't want to keep it that way. I always want to have stuff that I haven't read yet. That way I actually have options of stuff. I'm just one of those people. But I would like to stay around 70-80% of my books read, if possible. Maybe 60 to 80, but above 50. I think that's good. A 1 and 2 shot of, like, what I've read. I'm so very proud of myself. I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to do this because, number one, I didn't know how many books that I owned, and now I'm like, whoa. And it's cool to now actually get to catch up with more modern reads like this because for the longest time, with my backlog of TBR, and just because for several years I didn't read anything except for, you know, college stuff and things like that, I have been catching up on reads for the past few years. So I'm, like, 4 to 6 years behind what everybody else is reading, and I feel like I'm just now starting to kind of catch up. And I told my mom this because we went kind of book shopping for my birthday. Like, we set aside an afternoon, went to Half Price Books, picked up some stuff and stuff like that, and a lot of what I got were relatively new releases, like 2 to 3 years, or like last year. And I was like, I think this is the first time this has happened, that like a majority of the books that I've gotten have been more recent releases. Like, this is crazy. I'm finally catching up with everyone. Do I ever think I'm going to be super current? No, because I hate buying new books. I don't have the money. And that's on institutional poverty, childhood trauma. Yeah, but that's why we have libraries, right, babe? Problem is that my library tends to only have one copy, so I have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks. But that's fine. Support your local library. Support your local peeps. I'm willing to wait. I still have others I'm trying to catch up with anyway. But it feels good. Oh, baby, it feels good. Probably shouldn't say it like that in a vlog, but who cares? I've done less dignified things for more. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna go. I'm proud of myself. I hope that you're doing well. What are you reading lately? Let me know. How many, what's your percentage of your TBR? If you know, let me know that down in the comments below. Or what book you're most excited to get to on your TBR next, whether physical or digital. Let me know that down in the comments too. Or if you've read any of these books, if you agree, disagree, let me know. And if you made it this far in the video, leave me a snake emoji down in the comments below for Demon Copperhead, baby. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Who am I channeling right there? I don't know. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I love you. Love and peace. Bye!